Welcome here to Dana J. Dykhouse Stadium. A little bit of a late start here for us, but the Jackrabbits got the opening kickoff reception. A dot from Mark Gronowski over on the far side to the 15, down to the 10, all the way down to the 6-yard line. The Jackrabbits already putting together a pretty decent drive here in the first opening minutes of the game. KCJ Sports Director Braden Byers here with you. Ben Anderson alongside me. Ben, another beautiful college football Saturday here in Brookings.
That's true, Braden. Just before the game started here, we had a torrential downpour start, but that quickly went away, and we have a sunny yet windy day for football.
Overall, pretty good day. A little bit of the clouds coming out here as the Jackrabbits set up on the 6-yard line. It's going to be a play action going right into the horde of humanity. He fights forward, but they'll call him down at the 1-yard line. So the Jackrabbits just knocking on the doorstep of the first touchdown, and there it is. They take the snap. A straight QB sneak, I do believe that was, right into the end zone. And this top 15 matchup of Missouri Valley Conference foes starts off with the Jackrabbit touchdown.
Jackrabbits didn't slow down during that drive, got yards on every play, never stopped by the Fighting Hawk defense. Shortest play on that drive was that 1-yard touchdown QB sneak. Now we set up for the extra point.
Hunter Dustman out there getting ready to try and boot it through. Snap the hold, the kick is up, and it is good. So the Jackrabbits start off early here, 7-0, just over 11 minutes left in the first quarter. We'll step aside. You're listening to Jackrabbit Football on KSDJ.
Hey, wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind, like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest.
Uh-oh.
Or that time you forgot to roll up your windows in the car wash.
Fantastic.
Yeah, a remote control would have come in handy then. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Life doesn't come with a remote control. Yikes! So you're on your own with the wasps. You have the power to take control of prediabetes. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
Hey, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear. Call me Papa Bear, because I'm grilling up dinner. Do you get it?
Yes, good job.
So, what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha, 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 ha.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Hey, wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind, like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest.
Uh-oh.
Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. To learn your risk, take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
Back here at Dana J. Dykhouse Stadium, the Jackrabbits up 7-0 here early, 11 minutes, 3 seconds left to go in the first quarter. Here, the Jackrabbits getting ready to kick off. Hunter Dustman has it teed up. We're about to see the Fighting Hawks on offense for the first time. Of course, this matchup between two ranked teams. Number 1 and number 11 or 12, depending on what poll you take a look at. The ball going to be caught in the end zone and knelt down by the Fighting Hawks, more specifically Red Wilson. So UND's offense comes out here for the first time today. A couple of names to look at in terms of that one. Tommy Schuster, the quarterback for UND, has become one of the premier quarterbacks in the conference. Right now has a 70.59 completion percentage. Another one to look at is Bo Belquist on the receiving front. Schuster takes the snap. He'll go ahead and hand it off. Tackle going to be made by Jason Freeman from the Jackrabbits. On a 5-yard gain for the Fighting Hawks. It'll be a second down.
That was an effective run there. If they can keep making that happen through the rest of the game, they're going to score some points.
The Hawks coming out now, 3 receivers to the near side. Ball going to be Quincy Vaughn, number 4, the tight end. Will be stopped right at the line of scrimmage. No gain for him. It'll be a 3rd down and 5. Dyshawn Gales with the stop on the Jackrabbit defense.
Dyshawn Gales for Jackrabbits defense right there, able to flow to the ball, blow up that play before it really got anywhere.
UND now facing a 3rd down and 5. Schuster in the gun, back beside him, takes the snap, stepping back, surveying the field, has a guy downfield, and it's going to be incomplete. Pass intended for Wesley Ilidor. Dyshawn Gales on the coverage on that one.
Good coverage there by the defense the whole way through. I would just put that on a bad placed ball. Going to be out of reach from the receiver. Now it's 4th down.
So the punting unit out there for UND. Luke Silvernail and Tucker Large back to return for the Jackrabbits. A high punt. And Large going to go ahead and fair catch it in between the 20 and the 25-yard line. And the Jackrabbits will get another crack at it on offense. 7-0, the score, 9.5 minutes left to go in the first quarter. You're listening to Jackrabbit Football on KSDJ.
They are our cuddlers and coworkers, purr machines and love bugs, and constant companions. They are our pets, our family, and they make life so much better. When we face unexpected challenges in life, so do our pets. That's why we're on a mission to support people who love their pets and the pets who love their people, ensuring these families stay exactly where they belong, together. And you have something to offer. With an open heart and mind, there is nothing you can't do. There's no gesture too small or too big when it comes to helping. Whether donating a bag of kibble, sharing an Instagram post of a lost cat, or welcoming a foster pet into your home, every bit of kindness counts. You can help keep pets and people together. Visit petsandpeopletogether.org to learn how to be a helper in your community. This has been a public service announcement brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Just texting him back. I'm just posting a story. I'm just changing the song.
No. When it comes to don't. Sending a text takes your eyes off the road for just 5 seconds, but in that time, your car can travel the length of an entire football field. Any distracted driving just isn't worth it.
Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
You can really see here the different caliber of teams playing football right now. The Jackrabbits moving the ball like there's no one standing in their way, and the Fighting Hawks getting stopped on a 4-and-out.
So the Jackrabbits near midfield here. Went up to the line of scrimmage, then went back into a huddle. Now stepping back out into their formation. Got two receivers to the near side. A lot of motion happening on the right side of the line of scrimmage. Gronowski claps it, takes the snap. He'll hand it off to Johnson, makes a man miss, up past the 50, down to the 45 of the Fighting Hawks. Another first down. Caden Koppinen on the stop for UND. But as I said, another first down for the Jackrabbits. 8.5 minutes left to go in the first quarter.
The Jackrabbits have not had to pass one time yet this game, effectively running for about 10 yards per play.
First and 10 on the UND 45. Gronowski claps, play action, looks downfield, has Yonke on the near side, tried to go up for it. Can't come down with the ball. That's Jackson Yonke to be more exact. CJ Siegel covering him, putting a good defense to make sure he doesn't get the ball. 8 minutes left to go in the first half. A second down and 10 for the Jackrabbits.
See, the Jackrabbits just tried to pass. Didn't work out for them. So the coach now, I'm assuming, is going to be like, okay, we'll run it again for another 10 yards.
Setting up now, Twins off to the far side. Gronowski in the gun. Amar Johnson right behind him. Takes a snap, handoff going up, pass down the 40, down to the 40-yard line. Decent gain on that one. Koppinen once again on the stop for UND.
Mar Johnson there, the running back on that play, able to power through the defense, actually carried Koppinen for a good few yards before finally being brought down.
One thing to watch with this UND defense, they usually run a 3-4, but they have a dynamic linebacker that can come up and rush the passer if need be. Gus Miller, the center, having to be a lot more movement here today. A pass out to Amar Johnson, makes a man miss all the way down to the 25, driving deeper and deeper into UND territory. As the clock ticks down now, nearing 7 minutes left in the first quarter. Third down conversion, they'll set up a first and 10 right at the 25-yard line.
Amar Johnson, just an all-around flex player. Need him to run the ball, he'll do it. He'll carry a safety for a couple yards. Need him to line up his wideout, he'll catch the ball for a 10-yard gain.
The Jackrabbits have scored on all now 12 trips to the red zone after their trip to the red zone earlier on in this game. That resulted in a touchdown. Another handoff to Johnson, gets a couple of yard gain. They'll mark it just a 1 yard, so it'll be at the 24-yard line. Josh Navratil on the stop. To add on to that, not only have the Jackrabbits scored on all 12 trips into the red zone this year, 10 of them, now 11, have been touchdowns.
Jackrabbits have double tight on formation.
Gronowski A quick throw out to Johnson, past the 20, down to the 15, fighting his way down to the 12-yard line, and there's laundry on the field. What I do believe is the first penalty of the game.
Personal foul, face mask,
So the face mask on Hudson Flom of UND will put them closer to the checkerboards here, now setting them up between the 6 and 7 yard line. And it's first down and goal to gain for the yellow and blue. Setting up just a lone receiver off to the far side. That's Jaden Yonke back after a couple games missed. The snap. They'll hand it off to Davis, the power back. Will fight forward for only 1 yard, just shy of the 5 yard line.
That is the first bad play that I've seen out of the Jackrabbits offensive side this far in the game. Really just missed blocks, missed opportunities, let the defense in, took out the running back.
Now 6 yards to go here, second down for South Dakota State. A direct snap to Davis, now fighting ahead, makes a man miss with a juke and goes into the end zone. Touchdown, South Dakota State. That'll put them up 13-0. Now under 5 minutes left to go in the first quarter.
It was a great offensive call by the Jackrabbits. Give it right to your fastest guy on offense. Let him run the ball in for a touchdown.
So 2 rushing touchdowns on the day. 1 from QB1, Mark Gronowski. And now 1 from the exceptional running back, Isaiah Davis. Dustman out there for the point after. Snap spot kick is through the uprights. 14-0. 4 minutes and 42 seconds left to go in the first quarter. We step aside once again. You're listening to Jackrabbit Football on KSDJ.
Walking into the building for the first time after the shooting, it was crippling, but it had to be preserved.
In response to the Pulse nightclub shooting that affected the LGBTQ community, Barbara Poma, owner of Pulse, founded the One Pulse Foundation to honor Pulse victims and survivors.
If you're an ally of this community, speak out. There are more of us together than apart. It is the power of love in its rawest form.
Join the fight for LGBTQ acceptance. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
If I could be you.
And you could be me? For just 1 hour.
If you could find a way.
To get inside each other's mind.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
We've all felt left out. And for some, that feeling lasts more than a moment. We can change that. Learn how at belongingbeginswithus.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
Here's a fun fact for you. The average chameleon can point their eyes in 2 different directions. On the other hand, the average human can't. So unless you're a chameleon, there's absolutely no way you can focus on texting and driving at the same time. So don't do it, unless you're a chameleon.
Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Two rushing touchdowns for the Jackrabbits have them up 14-0. Of course, the first one just a short yardage QB sneak by Mark Gronowski. But the Jackrabbits up here early over the 12th ranked Fighting Hawks from Grand Forks, North Dakota. Jack's getting ready to kick it off from right to left here at Dana J. Dykhouse Stadium. what turned into a cooler day now, a little bit windy. Earlier, the sun was out. Forecast today, about 80 degrees. High end-over-end kick from Dustman, going to be brought right on the edge of the end zone. He almost went out, but didn't quite do that. Red Wilson keeping his feet inside the end zone for the touchback. So now the Fighting Hawks come out to the 25-yard line, looking to do something on offense, Ben.
Yeah, almost a critical error there on special teams. Red Wilson almost carried that ball out of the end zone. That would have been a critical error. Hesitated, stayed just inside. Now we're going to see if the Fighting Hawks can finally put some points on the board. The score right now, 14-0. You can really tell why one of these teams is 3-0 and the other one is 2-1.
That one loss for UND, of course, coming from a pretty decent football team in Boise State over there in Idaho on the blue turf. Schuster takes the snap, moves all the way around. All of that only for 1 yard gained on the play. That'll set up a 2nd down and 9 now on their own 26.
Yeah, he ran around, did some figure eights. He ran about 5 yards in total, but he only gets 1 on the board. So it's going to be 2nd and 9 for the Fighting Hawks.
Wesley Elidor and Jack Wright on the near side. Back to the right of Schuster. He takes the snap, has a lot of green space now, makes a cut back inside past the 30-yard line, fighting his way down to the 32. Decent gain on that one, but no first down. Set up a 3rd down and 3. Defensive lineman back in the middle of the defense, really. Gets the stop on that one. Either the 2 middle guys, Brian Williams and Ryan Van Marl. The crowd gets loud here. A defined sellout at Dana J. Dykhouse Stadium. A lot of blue, a lot of yellow. Spatterings of green around the stadium. Schuster takes the snap. Whistles come in before the play gets off. And it looks like a timeout. So UND will take their first. You could tell Schuster wasn't too happy about that one, but obviously Coach Schweigert and his team must have saw something they didn't necessarily like. Just over 3 minutes left to go in the first quarter here. 14-0. Jackrabbits up in their home blue jerseys, white pants with the white helmets donated to them by the Jackrabbit Former Players Association. UND, the white jerseys with black pants, green helmets with the Fighting Hawks logo on the side of it.
This is a big 3rd down here for the Fighting Hawks. If they're not able to convert, it'll be no first downs for them.
Both teams back onto the field now as you can hear the crowd get amped up again. On 3rd downs, the Fighting Hawks have converted only 48% of them. Schuster rolls out to the right, has a connection. He gets pushed out of bounds. Wesley Elidor. And that'll be enough for a first down. Tucker Large is the one that pushed him out. And that'll set up a first down on their own 41-yard line. A nice conversion there from UND.
North Dakota had to fight hard for that first down. Could add some momentum to them since they got it, but this Jackrabbit defense is certainly playing well.
Receivers to either side now. A down back in the backfield. A lot of motion from Red Wilson running all over the place. Schuster, a quick pass. Gonna be caught with one hand. An exceptional catch from Elijah Klein, the junior from Mandan, North Dakota. On the near sideline, Dyshawn Gales couldn't quite get a hand on it. Just reached up with one hand, secured it with the other above his hat. And just like that, the Fighting Hawks are in Jackrabbit territory. Motion all the way around. weird formation coming. A receiver takes a direct snap, and he'll just run it up the gut. Schuster there was lined up as wide receiver for a couple of seconds. They just decide to go with the quick run. A gain of 2 yards sets up a 2nd and 8. Isaiah Stahlberg right there for the Jackrabbit defense.
Excellent stop by the Jackrabbit defense. Some funny things happening in the North Dakota backfield there. Shifted running back and the quarterback off the side. Wide receiver took a wildcat snap.
Schuster in the gun, claps his hands. He'll throw it out into the flat. Has Wilson fighting ahead for yards. Manages to stay in bounds, shaking off the tackle. Looks like they'll mark it just inches short. Another 3rd down for UND here. A defined 2nd and 1 because they don't count inches, but I mean, that is as close as you could get to a 1st down without getting it.
Everybody stacked up on the line here now.
A snap directly to the tight end, Quincy Vaughn. He powers forward, leans the ball over the yard to gain, and that will move the chains. Decent drive from UND here, 7 plays so far, driving 44 yards. Now down to the Jackrabbit 29-yard line, moving from north to south, just as they did on their way down here from Grand Forks. Schuster, a couple claps, rolling out towards his right. Connects in the flat. It's going to be Isaiah Smith on the reception. Adam Bach, who's back, seen his first game action this year after a foot injury he's been rehabbing. Gets the tackle for the Jackrabbits to end out the first quarter. 14-0. The Fighting Hawks seeming to be putting together a little bit of a drive here on the Jackrabbits. We move on to the 2nd quarter. You're listening to Jackrabbit Football on KSDJ.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
Stop. That dog does not want to be petted.
A heads up before something bad happens.
You should not send that text.
Uh-oh. Life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes, you can reverse prediabetes and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. To learn your risk, take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Texting him back. I'm just posting a story. I'm just changing the song.
No. When it comes to distracted driving, just don't. Sending a text takes your eyes off the road for just 5 seconds, but in that time, your car can travel the length of an entire football field. Any distracted driving just isn't worth it.
Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Back here in Brookings for another college football Saturday. The University of North Dakota, 12th ranked in the country. SDSU still top ranked. Fighting Hawks putting a little drive on the Jackrabbits. 8 plays so far, 49 yards. Taken almost 5 minutes off of the clock to drain the rest of the first quarter out.
Yeah, the Fighting Hawks here finally looking like a football team, able to get into Jackrabbit territory with the potential to score. 2nd and 6 for the Fighting Hawks. Really can't afford a field goal.
So they'll set up on the 26-yard line. That yardage to go. So the Fighting Hawks still on the far side of the field, taking all the time they can during this quarter break to get things figured out. Maybe finally put some points on the board. Both teams now out onto the field. UND has 3 receivers to the near side. Schuster standing around waiting for the go-ahead from the official. Now the second quarter going to be underway once the ball is snapped. Belly high snap to Schuster, and a stonewall Jackrabbit defense will stop him right at the line of scrimmage, almost precisely where the ball was snapped from.
So let's take a look as the Fighting Hawks reached 3rd down once again. They had 3 third downs in the first quarter, only converting 2 of them, while the Jackrabbits only had 1 third down, and they did convert it and ended up scoring on that drive as well. Fighting Hawks need to get the ball moving on 1st and 2nd down if they want to win this game.
Coming into this game, they were 16 of 33 on 3rd down. See if they can do it once again. Schuster back to pass. He connects with the receiver, but Tucker Large is right there to bring him down. Large wrapped up Belquist, and that'll stop him short of the 1st down.
What a stellar hit by Tucker Large right there. Really blew him up, blew him backwards away from the conversion line. Now it's 4th down and 2.
So Brady Stevens, the kicker out there for UND on the 4th and about 2 situation inside Jackrabbit territory. Going to opt for the 3 is Bubba Schweigert and his team from North Dakota. Flags are out on the field. The Jackrabbits pointing in the way of UND. And they themselves are walking backwards, indicating that it's probably on them. It is indeed a false start, backing them up a little bit now. The kicking team going to the sideline. It looks like the offense might trot themselves back out here. 13.5 minutes left to go in the first quarter of this one. And indeed, the offense is back out for North Dakota.
Yeah, but why? 4th and 7. Farther than you once had. Offense going to try to convert.
Let's see what they have up their sleeves. A couple of claps from Schuster. He steps back, alone in the backfield now, moving, takes a deep shot down the field. It looks like it's going to be pass interference on Dyshawn Gales inside the 5-yard line. Taking a deep ball approach there, going for all 6 points. 3 flags on the field in the right around the near side hash. So all the referees go and pick theirs up. The thing is, Dyshawn Gales knew it too. As soon
That is a 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic 1st down.
He knew it as soon as the play was over. He slapped his thigh pads. He knew he had messed it up. 15-yard penalty.
Yeah, you can't do that on defense. That ball wasn't even close to the receiver. Going to tackle him before he gets his hands on it. Wasn't even trying to play the ball there. And it was 4th down and 7. Now it's 1st and 10. And they are 14 yards away from scoring.
Schuster in shotgun, some motion behind, rolling out towards his right. Gets it down the seam on the left side. Caught by Jaden Norby, the tight end for North Dakota. And that gets him closer. Now down to the 1-yard line. Jason Freeman, the stop for the Jacks.
So now it's 1st and goal, and they're on the 1-yard line. Critical error by Deshaun Gales in that pass interference.
A bunch hopped up on the line of scrimmage. Schuster under center. Takes the snap. It looked like he might have accidentally bobbled it. A lot of Jackrabbits in the backfield going to stop the ball carrier. Graham Spalding, the primary defenseman, making the stop on that play. A loss of 1 on that will set up a 2nd and 2 to go to the end zone.
I think the quarterback had trouble receiving the snap there on that last play, mistimed it, and the running back got the ball late, causing a loss of 1 yard.
Again in the gun, Schuster chest high snap. He'll hand it off again to the same running back, and the Stonewall defense of the Jackrabbits prevails. Combination of Adam Bach and Isaiah Stahlberg stopping the UND rushing attack. They do get that 1 yard back, but again, a 3rd down and now at the 1-yard line. And this time Vaughn, the tight end, again taking the snap, jumping over the pile. I don't know if he got there.
I think the Jackrabbits have been hitting the weight room because they're pushing these guys back like they're nothing. It's 4th down.
By a hair, a couple of inches away from the end zone. The ball is placed by the officiating crew, and the defense asking the crowd to get loud here. 4th down and 1 on the goal line. Again, Vaughn takes the snap, leans over, but he lost the ball. A UND player and a Jackrabbit fighting for it. The Jackrabbit comes out with the ball. But they are going to head and say across the plane of the end zone first. The crowd reacting to the replay. Referee seeing if they want to take a look at it. Asking them to stall from taking the snap yet. And they are going to take a look at it. So the crowd gets what they want, at the very least, a second look at it from the officials.
Yeah, the runner there able to break the plane with the football, but did lose control. So I'm sure the refs are going to see where exactly he lost control of the football. If he had control when he broke the plane, that's going to be a touchdown.
That's precisely what you said. As long as the ball breaks the plane of the end zone, it's a touchdown automatically. Anything that happens after that is null and void. Of course, the big thing there is you have to determine what is possession of the ball as it's crossing the plane. 10 minutes, 24 seconds left in the first half here. 14-0 lead for South Dakota State over North Dakota. 0 on the scoreboard, hanging in the balance of this officiated replay. They will confirm it. UND gets 6 on the board, and the field goal unit will trot out.
Yeah, and I expected that to happen. It did look like he maintained possession when he was jumping over the line there. Got that touchdown. 6 points on the board for the Fighting Hawks.
So Stevens out there. Snap spot, kick is up and good. My apologies, I think it might be CJ Elricks out there, number 53 instead of 92. So he gets the point after through. 14-7, the Jackrabbits still have a 7-point lead here in this one. About 10.5 minutes left to go. You're listening to Jackrabbit Football on KSDJ.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NCAA and the Ad Council.
They are our cuddlers and coworkers, purr machines and love bugs, and constant companions. They are our pets, our family, and they make life so much better. When we face unexpected challenges in life, so do our pets. That's why we're on a mission to support people who love their pets, and the pets who love their people, ensuring these families stay exactly where they belong, together. And you have something to offer. With an open heart and mind, there is nothing you can't do. There's no gesture too small or too big when it comes to helping. Whether donating a bag of kibble, sharing an Instagram post of a lost cat, or welcoming a foster pet into your home, every bit of kindness counts. You can help keep pets and people together. Visit petsandpeopletogether.org to learn how to be a helper in your community. This has been a public service announcement brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Back here in Brookings, fresh off a touchdown from UND. 14-7 is the score. 8-play, 49-yard drive from the Fighting Hawks. The kick going to be in the end zone, but brought out to the 10, past the 15, up to the 20. Griffin Wilde all the way out to the 40-yard line, gets tripped up, almost down to the 45. Wilde showing off his speed on the kick return. Antonio Blewett on the stop for North Dakota. Wilde has just exploded onto the scene. Sioux Falls kid coming from upstart Jefferson High School. Just got his red shirt pulled just a week or so before the season started. Has a touchdown in all 3 of the Jackrabbits games so far on the receiving end. If he keeps putting returns out like that, we may very well have a touchdown on that front soon. An illegal blindside block being called on the Jackrabbits. So a little bit of the return will be negated, but still overall the athleticism is something to look at there from Wilde.
They really backed him up a long way. That's going to be from the spot of the blindside block. So they're going to end up down here at the 8-yard line, which really sucks because that return was brought out to the 40. Now you're going to be backed up against your own end zone if you're the Jackrabbits. But I wouldn't be worried. Fighting Hawks defense has not forced the Jackrabbits to take negative yardage yet this game.
So both the offense and defense out there now. 2 receivers on the near side, motion across from Jaden Yonke, a handoff now to Davis, gets up to the 15, fights his way past the 20. A first down, and quickly gets a little bit of that yardage back.
Yeah, like I said, Fighting Hawks not really been able to put defensive stops into this game so far. Isaiah Davis is going to get it again. This time a shorter run, only 4 yards that time.
Going to set up a 2nd and 7 after the gain of 3 from Davis. Now under 10 minutes left to play here in the second quarter. 14-7. Glad to have you along with us here at Dana J. Dykhouse Stadium. Three backs in the backfield. Davis now comes out. Gronowski looking to pass. The pocket collapses a little bit, but he gets it out to Davis in the flat. A little spin move past the 25. Keeps finding his way. 2 spin moves in 1 run for him after the catch. Not enough for a first down, but showing off the moves there a little bit is Zay Davis.
Yeah, it was excellent agility there by Isaiah Davis. You know why he's the starting running back. He can totally move the ball. It's another 3rd down for the Jackrabbits. Haven't seen many of these. 3rd and 2.
Coming into this game, 61.5% on 3rd downs, leading the country. A handoff to Johnson. Lamar Johnson to be exact. About a 1-yard gain on that will set up a 4th and 1 now. And not really any hesitation there from Zach Lujan, the offensive coordinator, to keep his boys out there.
Yeah, when you've been moving the ball this effectively throughout this whole game, I wouldn't put doubt on this offense that they're going to pick up this first down.
Lined up right on the line of scrimmage under center. Gronowski leans the ball over. Looks like he got it, and that will indeed move the chains. Gets the ball past the 30-yard line where they needed to go. And that's where they'll set up a fresh set of downs in their own territory.
This is where you really start to regret that illegal blindside block, because you're not even up to where that kick return would have ended up now. And that 4th down could have ended your drive.
Motion from Jaden Yonke from far to near side. Play action from Gronowski looking downfield. Lets it go. Yonke not able to bring it down. The ball was a little bit high, reached up with one hand. Could not corral it in. CJ Siegel on the defense of that one. Sets up a 2nd and 10 on the 30.
Yeah, that ball was just placed a little too high outside the receiver's reach, so it's going to hit the ground. Great defensive coverage there by CJ Siegel. It's going to set up 2nd down and 10.
2nd and 10 for the Jacks. Twins to the far side, a single to the near side. Go ahead and keep it himself is Gronowski, fighting his way forward to the 35. Decent gain on that one. Will set up either a 2nd and 5 or a 2nd and 4, depending on what side that is, and it looks like they mark it closer to the 35.
Gronowski there able to truck inside linebacker Kason Kelly. Knocked him over, picked up a few extra yards. 3rd down and 5, Jackrabbits.
A decent drive being put together here. 7 plays already. Gronowski stepping back. Has Davis reaching forward for the first down. Excellent awareness to know he was going down, know where the first down marker is. Reaches the ball across the 40-yard line. And again, another first down moves the chains for the Jackrabbits as they inch closer to midfield.
Yeah, that's what you get from a veteran player like Isaiah Davis, senior on this squad. He knows where he is on the field. He knows what has to get done. Reaching across the line for the first down.
2 receivers near side. Lamar Johnson in the backfield. They'll hand it off to Johnson. Fighting for a few yards down to the 43. 2nd and 7 now. 5.5 minutes left to go in this half. Still a 7-point lead for the yellow and blue.
So Jackrabbits just moved past where that initial kick return would have been, and we've wasted a lot of time, but I guess that's good for the Jackrabbits because they hold the lead.
Setting up on offense now. Play action, Gronowski right up the seam to Zach Hines. He gets all the way down to the 30-yard line. An excellent connection from Gronowski to Hines on that one. Puts them deep into Fighting Hawks territory.
First and 10 and 32. Pentago with the stop.
Moving all the way up, a quick snap. A handoff to Johnson. Gain of a few yards. Gets him to the 30-yard line of North Dakota.
Gain of 2.
Now setting up all in a row in the backfield. Gronowski, Isaiah Davis, and Amar Johnson now. He'll hand it off to Davis. He's looking to throw downfield, decides to keep it down to the 15, down to the 20 before he gets pushed down of bounds. There is a flag back behind the line of scrimmage.
Interesting setup there. Isaiah Davis looking to throw there after getting the handoff.
Holding offense, number 87. That 10-yard penalty enforced from the previous spot remains second down.
So Zach Hines gets called for holding on a little bit too long. And that'll back them up. Significant chunk all the way back to the UND 40-yard line.
Yeah, that makes sense there. Isaiah Davis was looking to throw. He wasted a lot of time in the backfield. The linemen are going to get tired, going to lose their blocks. That brings out the holding call.
Trips near side. Gronowski, low snap. Looks downfield. Almost connects with Jackson Yonke. It's going to be incomplete. Josh Navratil lost his name there for a second on the coverage. Ticking down to about under 3.5 minutes left to go in this second quarter. Relatively close game here. The Jacks 12 plays so far on this drive. Triplets to the far side now. Gronowski looks downfield, has Jackson Yonke wide open, spinning around down to the 20-yard line on the near side seam. CJ Siegel on the tackle for UND. A big gain for the Jackrabbits. Again, moves the chains. Now down to the 21 of North Dakota. A 19-yard pass from Gronowski to Jackson Yonke.
What a nice looking pass when you get find a receiver looking at a defense with soft zone coverage, able to get the ball and run with it for a while until the defense catches up with you.
Gronowski takes it, hands off to Johnson. A whole host of Fighting Hawks in the backfield, blows that play up. Loss of a couple yards, sets down to second and about 12.
I think that's the first play by the Jackrabbits offense that's lost yards this game.
Loss of 2 on the play.
Got 2 minutes, 18 seconds left in the half. Jackrabbits have held the ball the entire time.
8 minutes of clock has ticked off so far in the second quarter. As the play clock ticks down to near zero, and Jimmy Rogers will call their first timeout of the first half. we'll take one with him. 14-7, South Dakota State leads North Dakota. You're listening to Jackrabbit Football on KSDJ.
Hey, wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind, like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest.
Uh-oh.
Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. To learn your risk, take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners. Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
Stop. That dog does not want to be petted.
Just a little heads up before something bad happens.
Move your coffee cup away from your computer.
Oh, no.
So you can have more control.
Stop. You're texting your boss by mistake.
Uh-oh. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Warning. The cap is loose on that ketchup.
Ugh. Don't wait. You have the power to change the outcome. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
Timeout taken by the Jacks there. Less than 2 minutes left to go in this first half. Up 14-7, putting a long drive together. 14 plays, over 8 minutes taken off the clock. And here they're set up. 2nd and 12 on the Fighting Hawks' 23-yard line. They'll hand it off to Johnson. He makes a man miss, cuts up the seam down to the 10-yard line, and he's still not on the ground. Finally being brought down, though he got past the 10-yard line. Caden Koppinen finally just putting enough pressure on him. That'll be a first down for the Jackrabbits. And a first down and goal to go.
I think the Jackrabbits just need a break. You need that timeout, you know, you're a little tired. Get a little water on the sideline, break out and run like that.
Now, a timeout from UND. Again, we'll take it with them. Buck 32 left to go in the first half, 14-7. We resume after this. You're listening to Jackrabbit Football on KSDJ.
Hey, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear. Call me Papa Bear, because I'm grilling up dinner. Do you get it?
Yes, good job.
So, what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha, 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 ha.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Hey, wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind, like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest.
Uh-oh.
Or that time you forgot to roll up your windows in the car wash.
Fantastic.
Yeah, a remote control would have come in handy then. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Life doesn't come with a remote control. Yikes! So you're on your own with the wasps. You have the power to take control of prediabetes. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
Set up now on the 10-yard line, first down and goal to go for SDSU. They have the lead 14-7. Looking to tack on 6 or 7 more points here before halftime. Snap from Gronowski. The flag comes flying out from the referee. The play's stopped. See what this is.
False start, offense, number 61. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot, remains first down.
So Evan Bernston, the culprit on that one. A false start for the Jackrabbits will back them up 5 yards. First down and goal to go from the 15-yard line. Wilde and Hines out to the far side. The Yankee brothers on the near side. Gronowski, chest high snap. Looking, rolls out towards his right now, spinning around. The defense got to him. He throws it away, out of bounds.
Gronowski was in trouble there. 2 defensive linemen coming in off the blitz. UND able to put some pressure on the quarterback, force the throw away.
Yep, Jalen Johnson and Malachi McNeil in on the pressure. Sets up a second down now and 15 yards to go till the end zone. Coming out now, Kevin Brenner to the right. Johnson steps in, takes the chest-high snap, a direct snap to Johnson. He moves up, spins his way down to the 11-yard line. A nice gain for Johnson, the leading rusher for this team so far this year. Definitely getting an advanced role on this offense in year 2 under Zach Lujan.
So just over a minute here left in the half. Jackrabbits have held the ball ever since that UND first touchdown. UND has not got the ball back. Jackrabbits eating time off the clock with this drive.
That's just incredible. 17 plays. Gronowski takes the snap, looking towards the far side. In there for a South Dakota State touchdown. On his knees was Jackson Yonke, hands in the air. And the Jackrabbits increase their lead now 20-7. Gronowski able to squeeze the ball past Edmund Okensi. Now Hunter Dustman out there for the point after attempt. Bell holding. Snap, spot, and the kick is up and good directly into where the Bride of the Dakotas would be sitting if they were not already down on the sideline preparing for their halftime performance. 21-7, 40 seconds left to go in this half. We step aside once again. You're listening to Jackrabbit Football on KSDJ.
Walking into the building for the first time after the shooting, it was crippling, but it had to be preserved.
In response to the Pulse nightclub shooting that affected the LGBTQ community, Barbara Poma, owner of Pulse, founded
Walking into the building for the first time after the shooting, it was crippling, but it had to be preserved.
In response to the Pulse nightclub shooting that affected the LGBTQ community, Barbara Poma, owner of Pulse, founded the One Pulse Foundation to honor Pulse victims and survivors.
If you're an ally of this community, speak out. There are more of us together than apart. It is the power of love in its rawest form.
Join the fight for LGBTQ acceptance. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
If I could be you.
And you could be me.
For just 1 hour.
If you could find a way.
To get inside each other's mind.
Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
We've all felt left out. And for some, that feeling lasts more than a moment. We can change that. Learn how at belongingbeginswithus.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
Drive summary for you here on that one. 18 plays, driving 91 yards, taking 9.5 minutes off the clock here. Only 40 seconds left in this second quarter, in the first half. And the Jackrabbits lead it 21-7. Now getting ready to kick it off from left to right, north to south. That's just an incredible number. 9.5 minutes, 18 plays, 91 yards. Dustman approaches the ball and kick is in the air. Back receiving around the 5-yard line. It's going to be Wilson. He gets met behind the 20. So not too much of a return there for UND as they set up shop deep in their own territory. Only half a minute left to go before the break.
Yeah, if you're UND, I'm assuming either they're just going to run the ball and shoot the clock out, take us to the half, or we're going to see a gunslinging quarterback try to score a touchdown.
Two receivers each side now for the Fighting Hawks. Schuster in the backfield. Set up in the gun. Waist-high snap, looking towards the far side. Connects with his receiver. Finding his way down. Going to be Luke Skokna.
Timeout, North Dakota.
As UND will take their final timeout of the half after the Stephen Arell stop. And they adjust the clock to 27 seconds. Left to go now in the half.
So I'm glad to see that they're not running the ball, not giving up. UND is going to try to pass, potentially to get into field goal range, or get that mysterious and mystical 6 points on the board.
Both teams break and come back onto the field. From their, I'm sure, various discussions they had during that time. Only one receiver down on the near side now, while two on the far. Chest high snap from Schuster. Lets it fly down to Jack Wright, his receiver. Last year culminated 216 yards receiving. Coming into this game had 72.
So what we're seeing here from the Jackrabbit defense right now is a prevent style formation. Throw three safeties in the back, two corners covering the middle of the field, two linebackers, and three defensive linemen up at the front. This is going to prevent a big play that the Jackrabbits don't want to let up. It's going to let UND throw the smaller, shorter passes, which are going to get eaten up eventually by the three safeties in the backfield.
To that point, though, Tommy Schuster so far today, 8 of 9, 65 yards. Not a bad day for him on the passing front, but they definitely have taken a lot of runs. Another huge thing is they just haven't had the ball enough to really get anything done, especially here in the second quarter. The snap from Schuster, surveys the field, steps up in the pocket, out towards his right. Now a low hit pushes Skokna out of bounds. And that gain will set up a second and about 5 or 4 for UND.
That was great patience there by Tommy Schuster, the quarterback. He really wanted to run. You could see it. He holds patience, finds a receiver near the sideline, gets a quick pickup and out of bounds.
And he's capable of running. Right now, UND's leading rusher for the day in the pocket. Plants his feet, a low hit, gets upended. Welsi Elador gets blown up by Dyshawn Gales. Thankfully, he gets up. He looks a little winded, but he is able to get up.
Dyshawn Gales, who gave up that pass interference call that led to the UND touchdown, I feel like he wanted a little bit of revenge there.
UND just spikes it to stop the clock at 7 seconds left in the half, as Elador will indeed come out, a slow jog to the sideline. Keep an eye on him as this game progresses along. Two receivers bunched to the near side. Schuster steps up and whistles blow, and a timeout called by SDSU. Just 7 seconds left in the half. Head man Jimmy Rogers doesn't want to give anything up heading into this break. Understandably so as well.
Yeah, if you're the Jackrabbits, you know, there's no use in holding on to your timeouts, so take one here. Make sure everybody's on the same page. Get the defense ironed out. Don't give up a big play with time still left on the clock.
Looking at these stats comparisons, it's a stark difference between the two, but it's not like UND is necessarily being dominated. The Jackrabbits have held the ball for the majority of the time. They just don't even have the attempts up there either. Schuster stepping back in the pocket. Going to be caught by Belquist out near midfield. Gets stopped about a yard short on the 49, pushed out of bounds on the near side.
So there's 3 seconds left up on the clock here, so this is going to be the last play of the half. We'll see one Hail Mary from UND. Jacks are going to line up in man coverage, 3 safeties on the goal line.
Four receivers in total out there. Whistles blow, flags fly. And SDSU takes another timeout to save what would have been a penalty on that far side.
That's great eyes by the SDSU coaching staff. The guys up here with us, just a couple rooms down, they have an overview of the field, able to see something that maybe the guys down there don't see. Get that timeout called. Don't want to give up any yards to potentially give up a field goal or a touchdown.
Still 3 seconds. 21-10 the score. Down to 3rd and 4, although down in distance here really doesn't matter that much, as we pretty much know what's coming from UND and their OC, Danny Froome.
Same formation by the Jackrabbits defense up now.
Schuster drops back. A lot of yards. Uncorks it. Belquist can't come down with the ball. He slipped on the turf. And the teams will head to their respective locker rooms for the halftime break. Top-ranked Jackrabbits have the lead 21-7 as we also break for halftime. You're listening to Jackrabbit Football on KSDJ.
Here's a fun fact for you. The average chameleon can point their eyes in 2 different directions. On the other hand, the average human can't. So unless you're a chameleon, there's absolutely no way you can focus on texting and driving at the same time. So don't do it, unless you're a chameleon.
Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
Stop. That dog does not want to be petted.
A heads up before something bad happens.
You should not send that text.
Uh-oh. Life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes, you can reverse prediabetes and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. To learn your risk, take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Just texting him back. I'm just posting a story. I'm just changing the song.
No. When it comes to distracted driving, just don't. Sending a text takes your eyes off the road for just 5 seconds, but in that time, your car can travel the length of an entire football field. Any distracted driving just isn't worth it.
Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Hey, wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind, like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest.
Uh-oh.
Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. To learn your risk, take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
They are our cuddlers and coworkers, purr machines and love bugs, and constant companions. They are our pets, our family, and they make life so much better. When we face unexpected challenges in life, so do our pets. That's why we're on a mission to support people who love their pets, and the pets who love their people, ensuring these families stay exactly where they belong, together. And you have something to offer. With an open heart and mind, there is nothing you can't do. There's no gesture too small or too big when it comes to helping. Whether donating a bag of kibble, sharing an Instagram post of a lost cat, or welcoming a foster pet into your home, every bit of kindness counts. You can help keep pets and people together. Visit petsandpeopletogether.org to learn how to be a helper in your community. This has been a public service announcement brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back here to Dana J. Dykhouse Stadium. The pride of the Dakotas performing their halftime show here. About 14 and a half minutes left to go till we get the second half underway. The Jackrabbits up 21-7 as it's time now to take a look at the first half stats. We'll start with total team stats here. South Dakota State had 16 first downs. UND had 7. South Dakota State had 22 rushes for 143 yards, 108 passing yards. In terms of total offense, they had 34 plays for 251 total yards. UND, 7 first downs, 11 rushes for 18 yards, 82 passing yards, 25 plays, and 100 yards of total offense. One thing I did want to take a look at, possession time. UND only had 11 and a half minutes of possession time, while SDSU had 18 and a half minutes of possession time. SDSU 4 of 5 on third down, 1 of 1 on fourth down. UND 2 of 6 on third down, and 1 of 1 on fourth down. Looking at South Dakota State individual stats, Isaiah Davis, the leading rusher, 9 carries for 75 yards and 1 touchdown, his longest being a 22-yard rush, averaging 8.3 yards per carry. Amar Johnson, 9 rushes as well for 46 yards, no touchdowns for him, and Mark Radowski, 4 rushes for him, 22 net yards and 1 touchdown for the QB1. Speaking of the QB1, 8 of 12 through the air for 108 yards and a touchdown. His longest pass of the day clocks in at 27 yards. On the receiving end of that, Jackson Yonke, 5 targets, 3 catches for 51 yards and a touchdown. His longest reception today, 27 yards. Of course, that one being Gradowski's longest pass of the day. Amar Johnson, 2 catches for 23 yards. Isaiah Davis, 2 catches for 9 yards. And Zach Hines, 1 catch for 25 yards. Griffin Wilde, the only kick return so far for the Jackrabbits, was 17 yards officially because of an illegal blindside block that knocked them way back, resulting in a 9.5-minute drive from the Jackrabbits. We'll get into that in just a moment. UND, Tommy Schuster, the leading rusher for the Fighting Hawks, 2 carries for 7 yards, averaging 3.5 yards per carry. Gavin Zebarth, 6 carries for 6 yards for him. Quincy Vaughn, 5 carries for 5 yards. And Isaiah Smith, 2 carries for -1. A net gainage of nothing. In terms of passing, Tommy Schuster through the air, 11 completions on 13 attempts, 82 yards. His longest pass of the day clocking in at 19 yards. Luke Skokna, the leading receiver, 2 catches for 15 yards. Wesley Ilidor, also 2 catches, but his are for 13 yards. Bo Belquist having a little bit of a quiet day so far, 2 catches for 11 yards for him. And Elijah Klein has 1 catch for 19 yards. Taking a look at the drive chart, the scoring drives, South Dakota State got the ball first, drove 7 plays, 75 yards, ending in a 1-yard touchdown rush from Mark Radowski. The PAT from Hunter Dustman was good. After a punt from UND, South Dakota State came back, drove 9 plays, 77 yards, scoring another touchdown. That time it was a 6-yard rush from Isaiah Davis. Once again, the Hunter Dustman PAT was good. UND then answered a 15-play, 75-yard drive that ended in a Quincy Vaughn 1-yard touchdown rush. The kick from Elricks was good after that. Score setting up at 14-7, and then right at the end, the Jackrabbits answered back with that 18-play, 91-yard drive that took 9.5 minutes off the clock, ending in a 6-yard touchdown pass from Mark Radowski to Jackson Yonke. That's a look at the first half stats. When we come back, we'll take a spin around the world of college football, more specifically a look at all of the Missouri Valley Football Conference scores from around the league, their implications on everything that's happening stateside, and then by that time we'll hopefully have some second half action for you. We step aside once again in this halftime break. You're listening to Jackrabbit Football on KSDJ.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
Stop. That dog does not want to be petted.
Just a little heads up before something bad happens.
Move your coffee cup away from your computer.
Oh, no.
So you can have more control.
Stop. You're texting your boss by mistake.
Uh-oh. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Warning. The cap is loose on that ketchup.
Ugh. Don't wait. You have the power to change the outcome. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners. Hey, wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind, like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest.
Uh-oh.
Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. To learn your risk, take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
They are our cuddlers and coworkers, purr machines and love bugs, and constant companions. They are our pets, our family, and they make life so much better. When we face unexpected challenges in life, so do our pets. That's why we're on a mission to support people who love their pets and the pets who love their people, ensuring these families stay exactly where they belong, together. And you have something to offer. With an open heart and mind, there is nothing you can't do. There's no gesture too small or too big when it comes to helping. Whether donating a bag of kibble, sharing an Instagram post of a lost cat, or welcoming a foster pet into your home, every bit of kindness counts. You can help keep pets and people together. Visit petsandpeopletogether.org to learn how to be a helper in your community. This has been a public service announcement brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Hey, wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind, like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest.
Uh-oh.
Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. To learn your risk, take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
Top finish in Texas.
Back here in Brookings, 21-7 the score. The Jackrabbits up on top as we get closer to second half kickoff. Braden Byers along with you. Time to take a look around the Missouri Valley Football Conference in the world of college football, as it is, of course, a college football Saturday. No final scores yet around the Missouri Valley, but there's one that's getting close to be perhaps a little bit of an upset, we might think. The University of South Dakota, up there in Fargo, beating NDSU 24-13, just over a minute left in the fourth quarter. So that one is as good as done. Aiden Bauman, 116 yards, 2 touchdowns for him. Crazy.
That's unbelievable. You don't see a school like South Dakota beating North Dakota State.
It happens, and that just shows the parity, really, that can happen all across Valley football in this conference. Another game starting to wind down a little bit. Youngstown State up just by a hair over Northern Iowa, 27-23, about 14 minutes left in the fourth quarter in that one. Games happening later on today in about 20 minutes. Missouri State versus Southern Illinois will kick off. The 1-2 Bears over in Carbondale, taking on the 3-0 Salukis. And 6 p.m. tonight, Indiana State, 0-3 Sycamores, taking on Murray State over in Kentucky, the 1-2 Racers. But again, pretty much over, 24-13. The Coyotes going to take down the Bison in Fargo. And Youngstown State up over Northern Iowa, 27-23. Taking a look around the rest of college football, ranked matchups that are over at this current moment. Sixth ranked Penn State takes down Northwestern 41-13. Number 8 USC, a close one against Colorado. They bounce back after their loss against Oregon last week, 48-41. Shadur Sanders showed out in that game. 22nd ranked Florida gets downed by Kentucky, 14-13. The Gators lose that one. Those are the final scores. Now, games happening right now, about 6 minutes left in the first half. Georgia, top-ranked Bulldogs, tied up with Auburn 10-10. Second-ranked Michigan up over Nebraska 21-0. About 8.5 minutes left to go in the second quarter in that one. Number 3, Texas over number 24, Kansas, 13-7. Had a little bit of a scare in the first half against Wyoming a couple of weeks ago. Showing that here, the Jayhawks keeping it close there as we tick down to 9 minutes left in the second quarter. And after one, 23rd ranked Missouri down against Vanderbilt, 3-7. Games happening later at 5. Number 13, LSU versus number 20, Ole Miss. At 5:30, number 9, Oregon taking on Stanford. At 6, Iowa State taking on number 14, Oklahoma. At 6:30, 11th ranked Notre Dame taking on 17th ranked Duke. 6:30, South Carolina versus number 21, Tennessee. At 8, number 12, Alabama taking on Mississippi State. At 9, number 7, Washington taking on Arizona. And 9:30, Nevada against 25th ranked Fresno State. About 30 seconds here until we kick off the second half. Glad to have you along with us here on KSDJ. Sports Director Braden Byers with you. Ben Anderson alongside me. Having a great time up here. 21-0, South Dakota State up over UND. Anything you're looking for in the second half here, Ben?
Yeah, I'm looking for the Fighting Hawks to actually try to play some football. You know, I want to see them move the ball. It hasn't been really interesting for me. I haven't been enticed by this game so far, so hopefully the Fighting Hawks can move the ball, air it out a little bit more, and move the chains more. Third down, they really start struggling. Only converted 2 of 6 third downs this game. We'll see if they can move the ball more effectively after this kickoff.
You hear, here comes the boom playing over the loudspeakers. Hunter Dustman teeing it up, getting ready to kick it from right to left from our vantage point here, high atop of Dana J. Dykhouse Stadium, a sea of blue, accented by the blue bleachers here, an official sellout. According to the athletic department, we'll get the official attendance numbers for you later on this half. But Hunter Dustman has it teed up, kicking it from right to left, a low, wobbly kick, going to be brought down by the returner, and Fighting Hawks will start off on their own 25-yard line. Again, 21-7, 3 touchdowns for South Dakota State. They have scored every time they've had the ball so far in this game, extending their streak they had coming into this one of 11 straight trips to the red zone with the score in it. A handoff straight away now to Gavin Zebarth. Down to the 30-yard line. Is UND going ground and pound here early. Not much happening through the air. Tommy Schuster, as we mentioned at halftime, 11 of 13 for only 82 yards in the first half.
I don't like seeing UND come out here in the ground and pound game because we've already proven that the South Dakota defense is stronger than them. Earlier on their touchdown, South Dakota held them 3 times to the 1-yard line.
2 receivers to each side. Schuster airs it out towards the left side flat, spinning around. Close to enough for the first down, but not quite getting it. It's going to be Nick Kupfer from Bismarck, the capital of the state up north.
I like seeing this from UND. This is where their niche really is, the short passes for minimal gain.
Bunch formation with Quincy Vaughn under center, pushes forward. Enough for the first down, most definitely. They move the chains here. Ticking down, 13 and a half minutes left in the third.
If UND can keep getting away with those short curl, slant passes, they could eventually get lucky with the breakaway if the defense misses. And they're picking up about 5 yards on each of those passes. Quarterback Tommy Schuster, really good in the short game.
He takes the snap, stepping back in the pocket, steps up now, it collapses around him, and the Jackrabbits finally get a sack on him. To my knowledge, this may very well be the first sack of the season. They just haven't had much luck from the front defensive line so far this year. So improving that is definitely probably number 1 on the list of defensive coordinator Jesse Bobbitt in his his first season in that role, taking over for the new head man, Jimmy Rogers. 3 receivers to the near side. Schuster takes it again, gets it out to the flat. Elidor tries to juke the defender, gets brought down around the 29-yard line. Jason Freeman finally brings him down.
Now it's 3rd and long for the Fighting Hawks. That sack really proving to be essential, a part of this defensive stop by the Jacks.
16 yards to go for the first down, to be more exact. Twins to each side of the offensive line. Schuster in the gun with Zebarth by his side. Right across the middle. Going to be incomplete. That one intended for Elijah Klein. So that'll set up another 4th down. Not able to convert on the 3rd down, and obviously going to send the punt team out there.
This is certainly not what UND wanted coming off of the half here, ending up with a punt. not really going to shift the momentum at all. Jackrabbits almost getting a block there on that punt.
Thus causing it not to be a very good punt as Tucker Large takes it off of the bounce from the turf. Gets hit out of bounds. And as you mentioned right there, the Jacks almost got to it. Rattled Silvernail a little bit. So the Jackrabbits will start in their own territory. We step aside here for the first time in the second half. You're listening to Jackrabbit Football on KSDJ.
That's right. Do your part to be a team player. Buckle up and get home safe. We've all got someplace.
They are our cuddlers and coworkers, purr machines and love bugs, and constant companions. They are our pets, our family, and they make life so much better. When we face unexpected challenges in life, so do our pets. That's why we're on a mission to support people who love their pets, and the pets who love their people, ensuring these families stay exactly where they belong, together. And you have something to offer. With an open heart and mind, there's nothing you can't do. There's no gesture too small or too big when it comes to helping. Whether donating a bag of kibble, sharing an Instagram post of a lost cat, or welcoming a foster pet into your home, every bit of kindness counts. You can help keep pets and people together. Visit petsandpeopletogether.org to learn how to be a helper in your community. This has been a public service announcement brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear. Call me Papa Bear, because I'm grilling up dinner. Do you get it?
Yes, good job.
So, what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha, 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 ha.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
The Jackrabbits take the snap. They hand it off to Isaiah Davis all the way past the 45-yard line. Gradowski, the handoff to Davis. It's a decent gain on that one and moves the chains for the first play from scrimmage on that one. It is official now. The Yokes stun the second-ranked team in the land. 24-19. The score has gone final. South Dakota State's in-state rival may be able to put up even more of a game than they usually do against the Jacks later on this year. Granowski takes the chest-high snap, airs it out. Now he's got Jaden Yonke, tries to shake a man off of him, fights his way down past the 35-yard line. Edmund O'Cancy finally brings him down, not being shaken by the swifty moves of the Yonke twin that wears number 1 on his back.
The Fighting Hawks are playing really loose zone coverage here throughout this game. It's really leading to these long Jackrabbit drives where the Jacks gain about 8 yards per play and keep converting to the first down.
Snap to Granowski. Back in the pocket, gets it to Kraft at the 25-yard line, leans forward, and they'll mark him at the 24 as he gets pushed out of bounds.
There's another good example of that zone coverage. Kraft came across the middle, picked up by a different cornerback, and he was just late behind Kraft by about 2 yards when he caught the ball.
1st and 10 on the Fighting Hawks 24. Granowski in the gun, triplets off to the far side, immediately goes over there. The ball's dropped by Davis. They're going to call it an incomplete pass, never had possession of it. Davis just waiting out there in the flat. A little bit of a wide receiver screen there, obviously not able to develop because of the drop pass. Sets up a 2nd and 10 on the UND 24.
Yeah, Caden Coppin there for the Fighting Hawks, try to pick up the ball. You know, you try to act sometimes, maybe the refs will go your way.
Nothing wrong with playing the play out. Yankee motions closer to the line. He'll now hand it off to Davis. Fights his way through down to the 15, down to the 10 now as he gets a little bit of help from the UND defender. Josh Navertil finally brings him down, but not after. He gets a first down and gets to the 11-yard line of UND. Jackrabbits moving right to left from our vantage point in their blue jerseys with white pants, white helmets, the glossy blue Jackrabbit head logo. Snap and handoff to Davis, had a little bit of a hole, fights his way down past the 5, still churning, gets down to the 3-yard line of North Dakota, and flags fly after the play. The Jackrabbits still on the ground, not hurt, Isaiah Davis is, but something tells me that might have something to do with the laundry flying from the huddle inside. Waiting for the officiating crew to figure out what went on.
There's 2 fouls on the play, 1 on each team. Dead ball, personal foul, defense, number 24. Dead ball, personal foul, offense, number 60. Those balls are offset. It will be 2nd down.
So 2 dead ball personal fouls on each team. They'll offset. Ball still set up at the 3-yard line, but it's now a 2nd down and goal to go. Excuse me, they are able to get a first down. If they do get a first down and not a touchdown, it'd probably be viewed as a loss by this offensive unit. Another handoff to Davis, stiff arm on the outside and trots his way into the checkerboards. Touchdown, South Dakota State. CJ Siegel just could not bring down the power back that is Davis, and he walks in for 6 more.
What an excellent stiff arm by Isaiah Davis. We've just seen this guy go off throughout this game. Excellent footwork, excellent awareness, excellent agility, and Isaiah Davis right there with the excellent stiff arm.
A little bit of a clock adjustment there, but regardless, PAT team out there. Hunter Dustman, the kicker. Bell, the holder. Here's the snap, spot, and the kick. And it is good. 28-7. Big lead on the Fighting Hawks. The Jackrabbits have just under 8 minutes left to play here in the 3rd frame. We step aside. You're listening to Jackrabbit Football on KSDJ.
Hey, wouldn't it be great if life came with remote control? You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind, like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest.
Uh-oh.
Or that time you forgot to roll up your windows in the car wash.
Fantastic.
Fantastic.
Remote control would have come in handy then. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Life doesn't come with a remote control. So you're on your own with the wasps. You have the power to take control of prediabetes. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its pre-diabetes awareness partners.
Walking into the building for the first time after the shooting, it was crippling, but it had to be preserved.
In response to the Pulse nightclub shooting that affected the LGBTQ community, Barbara Poma, owner of Pulse, founded the One Pulse Foundation to honor Pulse victims and survivors.
If you're an ally of this community, speak out. There are more of us together than apart. It is the power of love in its rawest form.
Join the fight for LGBTQ acceptance. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
Scoring summary for the Jackrabbits there. 7-play, 64-yard drive, 3.5 minutes of clock taken up on that one. And another touchdown run by Isaiah Davis, this time from 3 yards out, puts them up 28-7 over the regional rival, North Dakota. Dustman has it teed up, again ready to kick it away. Will fly and caught at the 1 yard line. Wilson bringing it out past the 20, and he gets hit hard. Ended there. Right on the sideline, being helped up by his teammates. Stephen Orell blowing that return up basically before it started. And that's precisely where they will line up at the 19-yard line.
What an excellent special teams play there. Dustman able to kick it to the 1 yard line. Then we have Stephen Orell absolutely blowing up the kick returner, knocking him back to the 19-yard line.
So this drive for UND starts with 7 minutes, 51 seconds left on the clock. 2 receivers, far side, 1 to the near side. Schuster again into the flat. Belquist gets it, makes a couple guys miss, but finally brought down right back at the at the line of scrimmage, excuse me. Virtually no gain on the play. They'll give him probably about a yard, I guess. Sets up a 2nd and 9.
Another excellent play by the Jackrabbits defense. That screen pass got blown up right away. The receiver lost his block on the corner, and he was in the backfield, stopping the runner from gaining any yards.
Full offensive attack on display here. 3 receivers near side, 2 on the far side, and Schuster alone in the backfield. Standing at his 15, he drops back. The pocket gets blown up. He's flushed out to the near side, drops it off, a low pass, and they're going to say he caught it. Elidor dropping low to corral the ball.
Savon Williamson from Jackrabbits defense able to put pressure on the quarterback. Unbelievable catch there by a UND receiver. Are they calling that a catch?
Nope, they called it incomplete.
All right. 3rd down then, and 9.
But if that was a catch, jeez.
Yeah.
2 receivers each side. Once again, Schuster stepping back. The play is stopped. So the official is coming in there with a late timeout. Going to take a look at it through replay review.
I want to see this too because I missed it the first time.
I really didn't have a good look on it, to be honest, either. It looked like it could have been either or easily. Definitely kudos to the Jackrabbit front line on that one, flushing him out of the pocket and having to make a crossbody throw into the inside in between the 2 hash marks. We're seeing the replay here. He gets flushed out towards the right. Has to throw across his body to Elidor, who goes down to a knee almost. And that angle doesn't really do much. Looked like there might have been some air underneath the ball there. But then again, that's why I am up here and not currently down there wearing a zebra costume.
That either bounced off the grass there or that's a catch.
The head referee still deliberating on the headset. In between the 10 and 15 yard line. .6:56 on the clock. He takes the headset off. Here's the call.
After review, the ruling on the field of an incomplete pass stands will be third down, North Dakota at the previous spot.
So they will keep it an incomplete pass. It was originally called a catch, but they changed the ruling right on the field right there. Spotted the ball, and the call stands. Just under 7 minutes left to go in the third. 28-7, the Jackrabbits up. And the Fighting Hawks on their own 20-yard line with another third down. They're 3 of 8 on the day so far. Triplets to the near side. Schuster claps his hands. Standing at the 15, he drops back. Again, the pocket collapsing around him, and he gets brought down behind the line of scrimmage. Another sack. Cade Trevere gets in there and brings down the UND QB. Officially a loss of 4. That'll put the ball at the 16-yard line with Luke Silvernail standing at his own 1 to punt this ball away. The kick. Tucker Large around there. He's going to fair catch it around midfield at probably the 47-yard line. And that's where they will start things out. We take a break once again, 28-7, SDSU up over UND. You're listening to Jackrabbit Football on KSDJ.
If I could be you.
And you could be me?
For just 1 hour.
If you could find a way.
To get inside each other's mind.
Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
We've all felt left out. And for some, that feeling lasts more than a moment. We can change that. Learn how at belongingbeginswithus.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
Here's a fun fact for you. The average chameleon can point their eyes in 2 different directions. On the other hand, the average human can't. So unless you're a chameleon, there's absolutely no way you can focus on texting and driving at the same time. So don't do it, unless you're a chameleon.
Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
Stop. That dog does not want to be petted.
A heads up before something bad happens.
You should not send that text.
Uh-oh. Life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes, you can reverse prediabetes and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. To learn your risk, take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
As the Jackrabbit offense trots out to the field, want to let you know the official attendance numbers came in 19,231 in attendance here today, the 4th largest crowd in Dana J. Dykhouse Stadium history. A handoff going to be blown up by the UND defense. A couple yards gained on that one, sets up about a 2nd and 8 after the gain of 2. 19,000. Knew there was a lot of people here, but when you get up into that territory, it's kind of hard to know, is this going to be the one that breaks the record? Is this going to be second, third, fourth, or whatever? Because it's just by a couple hundred people.
Right.
Of course, capacity for this around 19,000. Gronowski loses the ball, bounces backwards. He picks it up off of the bounce, rolling, and he throws it downfield out of bounds into the UND sideline. Avoiding catastrophe there is Mark Gronowski. Thank goodness he was able to scoop it up and get rid of it. The thing is, this shows you a lot about Mark, too, because he picks that up. He could have easily thrown it out of bounds, but he was still looking downfield, trying to see if he had anybody open.
Yeah, that was a dangerous moment there. Quick thinking by Mark Gronowski. Able to get that thing out of bounds, and we mitigate the loss.
Motion a little bit from Hines. Lap Gronowski drops back, dumps it off to Hines around the 45, dives forward to the 40, out of bounds, but a nice gain for him. That'll be a Jackrabbit first down, moving into UND territory once again. 5 minutes left to go in this third frame. Glad you're with us here on KSDJ. Braden Byers, Ben Anderson with you all season long, all home games. And maybe, just maybe, one away game. We'll see. We'll see about that. Clap from Gronowski, chest high snap. Now he'll hand it off to Amar Johnson. Fights forward for a couple of yards. Gets down to about the 38. Sets up another second down and 8. Quick snap now, handoff to Amar once again. Slammed down to the ground at the 40-yard line. Malachi McNeil, the one that brings him down.
An aggressive tackle there by Malachi McNeil. Almost a horse collar. Avoids that penalty.
Gronowski drops back over the middle. Is going to fall incomplete, intended for Jaden Yonke. So fourth down for SDSU. The offense comes off, and presumably the punt team will come on. Still huddled around Coach Rogers near the sideline. Play clock down to 5, 2, and 1.
Delay game. Offense. That penalty be declined. Remains fourth down.
So we're going to play this game.
Jackrabbits do end up punting here. It will be their first punt of the game, I believe.
And it doesn't look like they will.
Right.
I saw a clip the other day of a team. They purposely took the delay of game to back it up to give more room to punt. The other team declined it. They did the same thing. They declined it. Went back and forth for like 3 times before one of them finally gave in. North Dakota calls a timeout here. The offense was back out there, so they're looking to adjust here. A little bit of mind games here. Strategic planning going on for both teams here. 2 playoff teams from the Missouri Valley a year ago. UND's season ended by Weber State, a former conference rival for the team, harkening back to their old Big Sky days.
And now comes out the punt team for Jackrabbits.
Again, mental warfare. That's all this is. Bo Belquist, the punt returner for North Dakota. And Hunter Dustman, the man that does it all. Place kicks, kicks off, and punts. He catches it. High end over end punt, and it's going to be fair caught at the 10-yard line by Belquist. So as you mentioned, the Jackrabbits' first punt of the day comes at 3:21 left in the third quarter. 28-7, the Jackrabbits will get back on defense. UND looking to put some more points up on the board, get into that double-digit threshold.
I really like what I've been seeing so far from the Jackrabbit defense. It feels like a defense that could withhold even the best teams in college football. We would like to see a little bit more pressure from the defensive line on the quarterback, but on the last couple drives, there have been some Jackrabbits in the backfield.
Definitely improving as the year goes on, especially considering this is a ranked opponent, only their second ranked opponent this year. The run's going to be pushed up to the 15-yard line. Of course, the other one being Montana State and Isaiah Stallbird on the stop there. That was a fun one. Then turn around and put 70 up on Drake in Minneapolis.
Right. That's college football. You can go 1 week with a one-score game. Next week, your team's blowing up a worse team by 70 points.
Ball spotted at the 15, a 2nd and 5. Schuster standing at the 10. He'll hand it off to Skokna. He gets stopped after a couple yards gained. Graham Spalding on the tackle. Sets up now a 3rd and 3 yards to a first down.
It seems like the Fighting Hawks always end up in this situation, right? It's 3rd down, need to convert. You're stuck on your side of the field.
And that may very well, honestly, could have been the difference in this game so far. 3 of 9 on 3rd downs today is UND. The snap, the fake handoff. Now he'll pitch it out to Belquist. He spins around. A flag's thrown where he was brought down right at the line of scrimmage. We'll see what that's about. There was a pretty nasty block right over there. I just don't know who was nasty.
Holding, offense, number 44. That penalty will be declined. As long as play the 4th down.
So we'll be holding on North Dakota. Do believe he said 44, so that would be Mason South.
He needs to come off the field one play.
Redshirt freshman tight end from Maple Grove, Minnesota.
Punt team comes out for UND on 4th down.
And that means Tucker Large back to receive it. Kicks away, a little bit wobbly, takes it at the 45, gets hit again. Little bit of extracurriculars, but nothing too much. The ball did seem to pop out, but I presume that he would be down before it came out.
2 players from opposing teams still face mask to face mask and a shove. Refs getting involved now.
And a teammate from the Jackrabbits having to physically pull him away from that confrontation. Stephen Arell out there. As the officiating crew huddled around the ear of the Jackrabbit logo at midfield.
During the kick, there was an inadvertent whistle. By rule, we will re-kick that from the previous spot. 4th down, North Dakota.
Couldn't really understand what happened. what he said happened, excuse me, but they are going to re-kick it. First time I've seen this in a while. Will admit that.
Yeah, I've never seen this before in football.
It is in the rule books. I know it is.
Yeah.
I'm just not sure what could what triggered it in this case. Couldn't quite understand the referee. So apologies. Can't pass on that information. But again, we do it all over. Tucker Large back to receive. Luke Silvernail. Low snap. A higher punt this time. Way behind Large. He picks it up and he's going to run with it up to the 20, 25, 30. Cuts back inside, past the 40, up to the 50. He's got one man to meet. And he gets wrapped up at the opposing 30-yard line. Tucker Large, an electric player. His athleticism showing there. The kid from Sioux Falls putting some life back into this crowd.
Luke Silvernail, the punter for UND, the last man to stop the return for a touchdown.
I'm sure the Jackrabbits like that they made him do it over again.
I'm sure they do.
Favorable field position now, ending up at the 31-yard line of the Fighting Hawks. As Davis gets out to the 20-yard line, finally gets brought down. First and 10 now. See where they mark it exactly. 15-yard gain on that one. Sets up a first down at the 17. 42 seconds, now counting down to 40. Left in this third quarter. Top-ranked Jacks up 28-7 over 12th-ranked Fighting Hawks. Handoff now to Amar Johnson. Tries a fancy move. Then tries to power forward. Gets stopped at the 10-yard line. Second and 3 upcoming for the Jackrabbits. And they'll let the rest of the clock run out for the third quarter. We head to the fourth, 28-7. The Jackrabbits up a big lead on UND. You're listening to Jackrabbit Football on KSDJ.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
Stop. That dog does not want to be petted.
Just a little heads up before something bad happens.
Move your coffee cup away from your computer.
Oh, no.
So you can have more control.
Stop. You're texting your boss by mistake.
Uh-oh. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Warning, the cap is loose on that ketchup.
Ugh. Don't wait. You have the power to change the outcome. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
15 minutes left in this one, 28-7. Glad you're along with us here on KSDJ, your student home for Jackrabbit Athletics all year long. Jackrabbits down to the 10-yard line. A second down and 3 yards to go for a first down is where we sit. The offense huddled around the 35-yard line of the Fighting Hawks, waiting for the quarter break to come to an end. The UND defense already out there, ready to try and stop this Jackrabbit offense.
It's really been UND's defense that's been struggling throughout this game to hold the Jackrabbits to a stop. Jackrabbits just being able to march down the field, burn time off the clock. It's really hurting UND.
The snap from Gronowski. Fakes the pitch. The pocket collapses around him. He'll dump it off to Davis. He cuts back inside at the 5, dives forward at the 1. They'll mark him just a yard short from the end zone. A first and goal for the Jackrabbits. Heads up awareness from Gronowski. Dumps it off to Davis. He makes a move and gets all the way down to the 1-yard line.
What a special character in Gronowski there. Like you said earlier, should be probably throwing that one out of bounds. The pocket's collapsing, 3 defensive linemen in your face. No, he scans the field one more time, finds Isaiah Davis for a nice pickup.
Now set up everybody at the line of scrimmage. Fake handoff. Everybody except for Jaden Yonke, who was targeted on that one. CJ Siegel able to bat that one away. So we try it again, 2nd and 1 for SDSU.
Yeah, I don't really get the idea behind that from SDSU's standpoint. You've been effectively running the ball for the majority of the game. Just put it in for 1 yard, run it in.
Sometimes they get creative. Here now only one wide receiver again, Jaden Yonke. This time they will hand it off. And a push from Davis gets him into the end zone. Touchdown, South Dakota State. 34-7 the score right now, pending the point after. 14 minutes left to go in the 4th.
Yeah, we've highlighted this a couple times. The strength on the SDSU side is really what makes this team special. They're able to outforce UND there, push past their goal line defense, move 1 yard, get the touchdown.
Field goal unit out there to try this PAT. Snap spot and kick is good. 35-7 the score, 14:02 left in the 4th. We step aside again. You're listening to Jackrabbit Football on KSDJ Radio.
Just texting him back. I'm just posting a story. I'm just changing the song.
No. When it comes to distracted driving, just don't. Sending a text takes your eyes off the road for just 5 seconds, but in that time, your car can travel the length of an entire football field. Any distracted driving just isn't worth it.
Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Hey, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear. Call me Papa Bear, because I'm grilling up dinner. Do you get it?
Yes, good job.
So, what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha, 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 ha.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Third touchdown on the day for Isaiah Davis puts the Jacks up 35-7, 14:02 left in this one. Drive summary, 5-play, 31 yards, 2 minutes taken off the clock, ending in that 1-yard TD rush from Davis. Dustman kicks it left to right here. A fair catch going to be called by Wilson inside the 10-yard line. So they'll begin at the 25-yard line from that.
Let's see if UND can save some face here and score a touchdown.
What I'm seeing today is UND's definitely not a bad football team. In my opinion, they do deserve to be up there in the upper teens, around there after this week. Probably going to drop a few spots, but they definitely deserve to be in the rankings as Schuster drops back and hits one over the middle, diving forward for a couple extra yards. It's going to be caught by Jaden Norby. But I could definitely see potentially the Fighting Hawks hanging in there with UNI, definitely getting back into the playoffs for the second year in a row. Schuster takes a snap, hands off. He gets met around the 38-yard line, tries to push forward towards the 40, but no dice there. But it is enough for the first down. Score update, Missouri State 3, Southern Illinois 14. That one underway now. Of course, the news around the conference, USD upsetting second-ranked North Dakota State 24-19 up in the Dome. Definitely heavy implications on games the Jacks will have later on this year, and of course the playoff seedings as well as the national rankings. Schuster dropping back now. He steps up, runs with it past the 45, gets all the way down to the 47, the 47-yard line. Not enough for a first down, but decent yards gained from Schuster on that one.
Yeah, the Jackrabbits defense there held up in the pass coverage. Schuster forced to run.
Setting up now a 2nd and 3 on their own 47. Inching closer to Jackrabbit territory here are the Fighting Hawks. Schuster stops in the middle of it. Flag flown at the 40-yard line on the near side.
Offense, number 77, 5-yard penalty from the previous spot, remains second down.
Easton Kilty, false start on him. Was the Missouri Valley Offensive Lineman of the Week on September 4th after UND played Drake earlier on this year up in the Alaris Center. Of course, the Hawks taking care of business handedly in that one. not quite as handily as the Jacks did a couple of weeks ago. The pass going to be caught at the 40-yard line. Gavin Zebarth. The completion. It is going to be a loss, however. So a 3rd and 9 as the clock strikes past 11:11.
Jackrabbits sent the blitz there, put pressure on the quarterback, forced him to take a pass I'm sure he didn't want to take. Loss of yards, and it's 3rd down once again for the Fighting Hawks.
Crowd gets a little bit louder here. 2 receivers off to each side. Schuster's flushed out towards the right. Across the field has Belquist down the field. Past the 50-yard line. He gets hit pretty hard after the catch, but it is a catch nonetheless. He walks slowly off to the sideline, but the Hawks are in Jackrabbit territory.
That was an excellent catch there by the receiver, Belquist, but it cost him. 2 defensive backs there sandwiched him. Big hit. He's talking to a trainer right now, I believe.
Great field vision coming from Schuster as well, being able to catch that after being flushed out. Again, across body throw. Now off to the left side. He'll just take off with it. Schuster passed up to the 40, down to the 35. Tripped up, pass down there, down to the 32. The gain of 14 sets up a 1st and 10 on the 34-yard line. Savion Williamson on the stop. Nine and a half minutes left to go in the 4th quarter. 35-7. Schuster, 2 backs in the backfield, motion on the near side, play action. Surveying the field, the pocket gets blown up. He'll just dump it off to one of his tight ends. Fight forward. Pass complete. Stopped by Graham Spalding.
Ryan Vanille, number 98 for the Jackrabbits, defensive tackle, had some pressure on the quarterback there.
Second and 2 yards to go for the 1st down. Single receivers each side. The snap, he'll just hand it off to Zebarth. Who gets upended. Pushed back a little bit. And a couple of players pushing and shoving inside there. Isaiah Stahlberg. Pushing Isaiah Smith back, excuse me, not Zebarth. And one thing I can promise you, UND probably does not like the fact that they are down 35-7.
That's right, and it's 3rd down once again.
Another 3rd down for the Fighting Hawks. Handoff to Smith once again. He gets across. And it will be a 1st down for UND.
We're sitting right next to the SDSU coaching staff. They weren't very happy after that one.
I would imagine not. Just a simple up-the-gut run. Want to be able to stop those. Sometimes they slip through. It happens. Triplets to Schuster's left. 3 claps. He takes the snap. He airs it out down the field. A little bit short. The receiver either overran the route or Schuster underthrew the ball intended for Jack Wright down there. Just under 7 minutes left in the 4th quarter. 2nd and 10 still Ball on the 23. UND putting together a pretty nice drive here. 10 plays, 52 yards. The snap, Schuster hands it off. Cuts his way to the 20-yard line. Skokna keeps on running. The play was blown dead. Savion Williamson gets the stop.
Now the Fighting Hawks are in the red zone, but it's 3rd down. And 7 to go.
The last time they were in the red zone, they did come up with a score. Their only time this game being inside the red zone. Of course, the Jackrabbits 5 for 5, extending their streak of every time they go into the red zone, they come away with the score. Stepping back, Schuster across the middle, had a receiver, got sandwiched between 2 defenders. A flag is thrown, the signal incomplete. I think that was Bo Belquist again. He's just getting roughed up out there.
Jackrabbits also had a late hit on the quarterback there that was not called.
Pass interference.
I don't know if that's pass interference. In my opinion, the Jackrabbits were playing the ball there. But it's not my call to make.
That's why we're up here. Combination between Cale Reeder and Stephen Arell. As they slow down the replay on the video board. Working got 3 receivers on the far side, 2 kind of bunched up on the left side. Now a motion from Skokna. He dumps it off to Skokna and he leans it in on the pylon for a UND touchdown. Gets them past 10 points, up to 13 points, again pending the PAT. And it seems as if that pass interference call on Stephen Arell set up the score for the Hawks.
Colby Herder was on the coverage there for South Dakota on that last play, resulting in a touchdown. Just let the receiver get behind him a little bit, and he reached out for the pylon, got the touchdown.
Elric boots it through, 35-14. 5 minutes, 58 seconds left to go in this one. We step aside. Once again, you're listening to Jackrabbit Football on KSDJ.
They are our cuddlers and coworkers, purr machines and love bugs, and constant companions. They are our pets, our family, and they make life so much better. When we face unexpected challenges in life, so do our pets. That's why we're on a mission to support people who love their pets, and the pets who love their people, ensuring these families stay exactly where they belong, together. And you have something to offer. With an open heart and mind, there is nothing you can't do. There's no gesture too small or too big when it comes to helping. Whether donating a bag of kibble, sharing an Instagram post of a lost cat, or welcoming a foster pet into your home, every bit of kindness counts. You can help keep pets and people together. Visit petsandpeopletogether.org to learn how to be a helper in your community. This has been a public service announcement brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Walking into the building for the first time after the shooting, it was crippling, but it had to be preserved.
In response to the Pulse nightclub shooting that affected the LGBTQ community, Barbara Poma, owner of Pulse, founded the One Pulse Foundation to honor Pulse victims and survivors.
If you're an ally of this community, speak out. There are walking into the building for the first time after the shooting, it was crippling, but it had to be preserved.
In response to the Pulse nightclub shooting that affected the LGBTQ community, Barbara Poma, owner of Pulse, founded the One Pulse Foundation to honor Pulse victims and survivors.
If you're an ally of this community, speak out. There are more of us together than apart. It is the power of love in its rawest form.
Join the fight for LGBTQ acceptance. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
(35-14), UND scoring summary here. 12 plays, 75 yards, taking 8 minutes off the clock. PAT was good. Gets them past the threshold of 10. Elrics kicks the ball into the end zone for a touchback. So the Jacks will come out to the 25-yard line.
We'll see if the Jackrabbits can put some more points on the board this drive. They might just hold the ball for the rest of the game, too.
That's definitely in play here.
That 5-yard penalty will be added to the dead ball spot. First down, South Dakota State.
So a 5-yard penalty, I'm guessing it's on UND because they just moved it up to the 30-yard line. It's assessed from the dead ball spot. Take a look at some other scores from around the FCS. Montana State up over Portland State 17-14 at halftime. That's number 3 in the country. Montana State, 4th ranked William and Mary losing to Elon 6-14. We got Holy Cross currently in a battle with Harvard 14-7 at the end of the first quarter. Of course, Idaho making a comeback with former Jackrabbit assistant coach Jason Eck at the helm there. They're tied up with Eastern Washington at 21-all at halftime.
The ball was offside for CDT number 14. That ball will be declined. It'll be South Dakota's ball, 1st and 10 on the 25-yard line.
So now they move it back to the 25-yard line. Can't make up their mind. Can't make up their mind. One thing is for sure, though, the rankings might be in flux. This upcoming week, North Dakota State dropping to South Dakota, William and Mary losing their game to Elon. So now the Jackrabbits come out, set up at the 25-yard line, just under 6 minutes left to go in this one, 35-14 lead for the yellow and blue. Motion from Kevin Brenner and Zach Hines. Gronowski takes a snap. He'll hand it off to Davis. He fights his way up past the 30. Finally gets brought down after gaining an extra couple yards. Ethan Ball on the stop. Sets up 2nd and 3 as the clock keeps ticking.
Second down and 3.
Has 3 receivers off to the far side, 1 to the near side. That one is Jackson Yonke. He'll just dump it out to Angel Johnson in the game. He goes back up past the 40. The agility of Angel Johnson cannot be understated. Every time he comes into the game, he seems to make a nice play like that. Malachi Buckner getting the stop on that one.
The UND defense really has to start making an aggressive play here if they want to get the ball back. They can't just keep running this weak pass coverage, letting them run 8 yards. If UND wants to get the ball with ample time, they need to play some aggressive defense.
2 receivers near side. Gronowski chest high snap. He'll hand it off to Angel Johnson once again. Fights his way to the 50-yard line, excuse me. South Dakota kid coming from Viborg Hurley High School. The 50-yard line is where they spotted. A 2nd down and 2 yards to go. Johnson again right beside Gronowski. Couple of shuffles. Pump fakes, and he uncorks it. Intended for Wilde on the far sideline, overthrew that one.
Gronowski got knocked off balance there, had some pressure coming from the UND defensive line. A blocker was pushed back into Gronowski, lost his balance, so that one got sent out of bounds.
3rd down and 2.
So Gronowski is still in the game, a 3rd down and 2. Another handoff to Angel Johnson. He breaks it loose. 30, 25, 21 guy to beat. He's just got to outrun him, and he does. Into the checkerboards for a South Dakota State touchdown.
Angel Johnson putting the wheels on there, breaking through the UND defense. I thought he was tackled. Apparently not. Broke through both lines. No safeties in front of him. Had a free rein all the way to the end zone.
His speed and agility, his top 2 strengths, and he shows it every time. Hunter Dustman out there for the point after attempt. Make it 42-14. Spot, and the kick is good. 42-14, 3.5 minutes left to go in the 4th. We step aside once again. You are listening to Jackrabbit Football on KSDJ.
If I could be you.
And you could be me?
For just 1 hour.
If you could find a way.
To get inside
each other's mind.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
We've all felt left out. And for some, that feeling lasts more than a moment. We can change that. Learn how at belongingbeginswithus.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
Here's a fun fact for you. The average chameleon can point their eyes in 2 different directions. On the other hand, the average human can't. So unless you're a chameleon, there's absolutely no way you can focus on texting and driving at the same time. So don't do it, unless you're a chameleon.
Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
Stop. That dog does not want to be petted.
A heads up before something bad happens.
You should not send that text.
Uh-oh. Life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes, you can reverse prediabetes and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. To learn your risk, take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
Drive summary for you. 5 plays, 75 yards, 2.5 minutes taken off the clock. About 3.5 minutes left. The Jackrabbits lead at 42-14. Dustman sets the ball in the tee, getting ready to kick it from left to right from where we stand. Ball falls off the tee. Back to receive Red Wilson and Jack Wright for UND. Both standing at the 5-yard line. And here's the kick. Wilson will take it at the 1. Fair catch it. The ball will be brought out to the 25. As I said, 3.5 minutes till this one is in the books. Still a few fans left here. Of the 19,000 that attended this game. The UND offense back out there going to work. Quick pass out in the flat. Will be caught by Caden Dennis. Trey Feeney in there at quarterback for UND. 6'3" sophomore from Moorhead, Minnesota. Did not play last year. Well, he did play. He did not attempt any passes as he gets that one out on the near side to the 35-yard line. And the only game he played in was against Missouri State. In 2021, he redshirted and went 1 for 3 overall. All that after leading the Moorhead Spuds to be one of the top teams in Minnesota high school football, specifically Class 5A. A handoff to Skokna. He trips over the 40-yard line. Gets a couple extra yards past that. Still not enough for a first down. We'll set up a 2nd and about 3 after the 7-yard gain. Feeney steps back, uncorks it, across the middle of the field, and a flag is going to be thrown.
Don't know where that flag's coming from. Maybe pass interference here on the Jackrabbits.
Defense, number 31. That 15-yard penalty discussed in the previous spot. Automatic first down.
That's exactly what it is. Pass interference there on the Jackrabbits.
Jalen B. Lee gets that call, the redshirt freshman from Wentzville, Missouri. So that'll advance the Fighting Hawks a little bit more. Just under 2 minutes left in the 4th quarter. 1st and 10. Ball on the Jackrabbit 43 now. Feeney drops back, across the middle, caught, fighting forward to the 35-yard line. Caught by Red Wilson. Coming into this game at 11 catches for 116 yards. Definitely added on to that a little bit today. Is that one another check down to Wilson?
This is what UND has been excelling at throughout this game, these quick passes, effectively moving the ball down the field.
Two receivers each side, ball at the 31, 1st and 10. Stepping back, Feeney zips it right to Wilson and gets brought down by Colby Herter. That gain of 4 sets up a 2nd and 6 On the Jackrabbit 27, Feeney stepping back, steps up in the pocket now. He missed his target a little bit. Intended for Nick Kupfer. Savion Williamson doesn't let him catch that pass. 1:02 left to go. $1.02. 42-14 the score. The Fighting Hawks hoping that's not a final. Chest high snap, stepping back. Feeney zips it again to Wilson. He gets to the 10, pushed out of bounds at the 5. Now they're deep in Jackrabbit territory. It'll be a first and goal for UND.
Savion Williamson and Matthew Durrance there for the defense, teaming up to take the receiver down after a missed tackle.
And only a little bit of time ticked off the clock there, 55 seconds, and the clock is stopped. Got pushed out of bounds. Feeney standing at the 10. Play action, fake handoff, and the ball almost intercepted at the 1-yard line. Was bobbled by the receiver, Quincy Vaughn. Probably should have been a catch for, I would say, at least 3-4 yards.
.51 seconds left on the clock, and the Fighting Hawks are on the 5-yard line.
Second and goal for them. Down 42-14. Feeney takes it and keeps it himself. He's going to push forward, dives into the end zone for a North Dakota touchdown.
Feeney's going to be able to pick up that touchdown, put a little Band-Aid on the Fighting Hawks score, and after this extra point, Jackrabbits will bring us to the end of the game.
42-20. As always, pending the extra point. Out there is Ulrich. Snap, spot, and the kick. They are good. 42-21, 45 seconds left. Jackrabbits will receive this kickoff and end this game. They will advance to 4-0 on the season, 1-0 in Missouri Valley Football Conference play. Meanwhile, the Fighting Hawks will drop to 2-2 overall and 0-1 in the Valley. Of course, you can't really sneeze at a 2-2 record, and your 2 losses are Boise State and South Dakota State.
That's very true. This North Dakota team is definitely not a bad team, like you said earlier. Just playing a better opponent.
A game I think would be fun to see is Boise State versus South Dakota State in Boise. Both wearing their all-blue uniforms. It's a terrible idea, but I'd love to see it. Kickoff low and wobbly. Gonna hit out of bounds, and the ceremonial flag flies. Can't kick it out of bounds. So 45 seconds left. Gonna mark the ball at the 35. And Chase Mason will do the honors. The Jacks get into victory formation. The snap. His knee hits the ground. Hand off to the referee so he can do it again. Put this one to bed. Under 30 seconds now. Mason's left knee hits the ground once again, and the time will tick out. Both teams converge onto the field to greet each other, shake hands, the coaches finding each other. This one is in the books. 42-21, the final score. The top-ranked Jackrabbits take down the 12th-ranked Fighting Hawks of North Dakota. Coming up, post-game show here on KSDJ. Take a look at the final stats. Take a look around college football, Missouri Valley. Take another look at the North Dakota State score. Score that I'm sure surprises a lot of people. Take a look at what's next. Then we'll send you on your way. So we move into our post-game show. You're listening to Jackrabbit Football on KSDJ.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
Stop. That dog does not want to be petted.
Just a little heads up before something bad happens.
Move your coffee cup away from your computer.
Oh, no.
So you can have more control.
Stop. You're texting your boss by mistake.
Uh-oh. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Warning. The cap is loose on that ketchup.
Ugh. Don't wait. You have the power to change the outcome. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Just texting him back. I'm just posting a story. I'm just changing the song.
No. When it comes to distracted driving, just don't. Sending a text takes your eyes off the road for just 5 seconds, but in that time, your car can travel the length of an entire football field. Any distracted driving just isn't worth it.
Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
They are our cuddlers and coworkers, purr machines and love bugs, and constant companions. They are our pets, our family, and they make life so much better. When we face unexpected challenges in life, so do our pets. That's why we're on a mission to support people who love their pets and the pets who love their people, ensuring these families stay exactly where they belong, together. And you have something to offer. With an open heart and mind, there is nothing you can't do. There's no gesture too small or too big when it comes to helping. Whether donating a bag of kibble, sharing an Instagram post of a lost cat, or welcoming a foster pet into your home, every bit of kindness counts. You can help keep pets and people together. Visit petsandpeopletogether.org to learn how to be a helper in your community. This has been a public service announcement brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Back here in Brookings, 42-21 final score. Top-ranked Jacks get the win over 12th-ranked Fighting Hawks from North Dakota. A good win for the Missouri Valley Conference season opener for SDSU. Let's go ahead and take a look at the stats from this one. Starting out with North Dakota, Tommy Schuster, 19 for 24, passing 118 yards, 1 touchdown, QB rating of 134. Backing him up, of course, Trey Feeney, 6 of 8, 48 yards, completion percentage of about 75%. Him playing the last handful of snaps after this one kind of got out of hand. Actually getting that last touchdown drive, he was a part of that. In terms of rushing, the Fighting Hawks leading rusher, Gavin Zebarth, 5 carries for 22 yards. His longest of the day was 6, averaging about 4.4 yards per carry. Luke Skokna, 4 carries for 17 yards. Schuster got a little running in, 6 carries for 16 yards. And Quincy Vaughn, 5 carries for 5 yards. In terms of receiving, Red Wilson, the leading receiver for the Hawks, 5 catches for 45 yards. His longest of the day was 22. Bo Belquist, 5 catches, 23 yards. Welsi Elador, 6 catches for 16 yards. And Luke Skokna, 3 catches for 20 yards. In terms of returns, Red Wilson had 2 of them for 30 yards. His longest return of the day was 18. Looking at the team totals, UND had 17 first downs, had 26 rushes for 68 yards, 166 passing yards, and had 59 total plays of offense for 234 yards. Switching focus now to the Jackrabbits. Isaiah Davis, the leading rusher, 16 carries for 132 yards and 3 touchdowns. His longest of the day was 22 yards, averaging about 8 yards per carry. Angel Johnson behind him with 2 rushes. Of course, that's a little bit skewed because he had that long run, 58 yards on 2 rushes and 1 touchdown for him, 29 yards per rush. Amar Johnson had 13 carries for 56 yards, and Mark Gronowski had 4 rushes for 22 yards. Jackson Yonke led the receiving corps, 3 catches for 51 yards, had 1 touchdown. His longest reception of the day was 27 yards. Zach Hines, 3 catches for 18 yards. Isaiah Davis, 3 catches for 21 yards. And Amar Johnson, 2 catches for 22 yards. Tucker Large had 2 punt returns for 59 yards. His longest was 51. And Griffin Wilde had 1 kick return for 17 yards. Going through all of the scores that happened in the second half, Jacks had a 7-play, 64-yard drive that ended in an Isaiah Davis 3-yard touchdown run. In the fourth quarter, the Jackrabbits had 5-play, 31-yard drive that ended in an Isaiah Davis 1-yard touchdown run. Then UND answered back, 12 plays, 75-yard drive. Tommy Schuster got a 5-yard pass to Luke Skokna, and that made it 35-14. Then as SDSU came back, answered again, 5 plays, 75 yards, ending in an electric Amar Johnson 50-yard touchdown run, made it 42-14, and right at the end, Trey Feeney capped things off with a 10-play, 75-yard drive with a 5-yard touchdown rush from Feeney himself. That brings us to the final score, 42-21. Taking a look around the Missouri Valley Football Conference now in terms of scores. Missouri State currently down against Southern Illinois 10-20. About 2 minutes left until halftime in that one. Games that have already happened. Northern Iowa edges out Youngstown State 44-41. And the big shocker of the day in the entire FCS, I would presume, South Dakota, the Coyotes, defeating North Dakota State 24-19 up in the Fargo Dome. One game still yet to even be started, and that game happening in about 40-ish minutes, 45 minutes at 6 o'clock. Indiana State versus Murray State over in Murray, Kentucky. That game is on ESPN Plus if you so choose to indulge in that. But that's a look at the Missouri Valley Football Conference scores. Now let's take a look at what's coming up next for these two teams. You know, South Dakota State, they advanced to 4-0 on the season. Good overall win here. They start the conference season off 1-0. Next week, they travel to Normal, Illinois. They will take on Illinois State at 6 p.m. over there. The next time they're back here in Brookings will be October 14th at 2 p.m. against Northern Iowa for Hobo Day. And we will have that one for you right here on KSDJ. UND drops to 2-2 overall, 0-1 in the conference. After this loss, the next week they will be back at home in Grand Forks at the Alaris Center, taking on Western Illinois at 1 p.m. for homecoming. And then the week after that, they will also be in Grand Forks against in-state rival North Dakota State. That one happening at 1 p.m. 42-21 final score, South Dakota State over the University of North Dakota. Place cleared out pretty fast. I mean, there's nobody in the seats anymore. Probably want to go and celebrate this one. Ben, what did you think of the game?
Yeah, I think North Dakota struggled throughout this game early on with those third down conversions. Here we can look at North Dakota. They got 6 of 13. South Dakota 6 of 8. You know, South Dakota receiving a lot less third downs because they would convert on first or second down. And possession time in the first and second quarter was heavily on SDSU. UND able to bring that back. It's actually pretty even, 29 minutes, 39 seconds for UND, 29 minutes, 36 seconds for SDSU. So I think UND definitely started to play better as the game went on with those quick passes. The run game really wasn't there for them. The defense also played poorly. SDSU all around saw the defense improve a lot this game, and the offense running the ball quite effectively, as well as exploiting UND's defensive weakness.
So UND definitely not a shabby team. The record doesn't say much when you play Boise State and South Dakota State. That's all I have to say. I mean, they're a pretty good football team. They will drop a little bit in the rankings. Speaking of the rankings, NDSU. What happened there?
I have no idea. I wish I could have been watching that one. What is South Dakota ranked? Do you know?
I don't know off the top of my head. Let me double check on that. But
I know they're not ranked as high as 2 because South Dakota's 1 and North Dakota State number 2.
I don't think. Yeah, they're not ranked. They're not receiving votes or anything like that. So a gigantic upset.
That is crazy.
And then William and Mary falling to Elon, 4th ranked team in the country. That's gonna shake some things up as well. I mean, yeah, overall wild day for college football, and we're not even done yet. So that's, I mean, welcome to college football, especially in the FCS. But final score 42-21. South Dakota State prevails here once again and continue their winning streak. Their last loss, the beginning of last season, in Iowa City. They haven't lost since. So They continue their quest at Illinois State next week. Make sure to tune in to that one on ESPN Plus and or the Jackrabbit Sports Network. Our friends over there, Tyler Merriam and company, will take care of you. But we will be right back here on Hobo Day for the matchup between Northern Iowa, who always seems to give SDSU trouble, especially when they play on Hobo Day. So that should be a pretty good one. But for all of us here at KSDJ, I want to thank you for listening. Again, final score 42-21. Hope you have a great rest of your night. And as always, go Jacks.